Wall Street's new favorite economic gauge is the initial jobless claims. I just talked about it a moment ago. Came in at 227,000. By the way, continuing claims are soaring, right? They're getting close to 2 million. My next guest is the founder of Genesis 10. It's one of the largest IT staffing firms in the United States. So let's bring in the CEO and founder, Harley Lippman. Harley, just your thoughts. I mean, you're in the thick of it. Interesting enough, I think the last year or so, IT has been, losing jobs. But we're seeing more and more, whether you look at the quits rates, job openings, we're moving in the wrong direction. And I don't think that this initial jobless claims is even the best way of measuring the jobs market. What are you seeing?
Well, the IT staffing industry has been in the doldrums, has been in a kind of recession for almost 2 years now. But it's just coming out of it. So for the last 2 months, there's been a lot of job hiring, and we're somewhat of a bellwether as to what the future of the economy is going to look like.
Why was there so much job layoffs when the IT sector was the hottest sector in the world? AI is here, the fourth industrial revolution. I never understood why there were layoffs in the first place.
They're trying to do more with less. They're trying to cut costs. Wall Street always wants to cut headcount and cut costs, and it speaks to that.
Do you think, then, piggybacking off that and how IT is a leader, at some point, that's going to hit Main Street, right? I mean, AI is going to start taking jobs at some point. This could be an issue for the broader job market at some point soon.
They will take jobs, but also create new jobs. I give the example, the horse and the buggy. Everybody thought that'd be it, but, automation and the assembly line.
But it's not smooth. It's not like one day, like factory workers, right? They said that about factory workers. All right, they're going to close your factory, but tomorrow you'll learn how to code. True. I mean, there's a transition period. There's a gulf between those two areas, a gulf of pain, isn't there?
There will be, and that'll be a big challenge.
Yeah.
But net progress is going to create, I think, more jobs in the future than lose.
Okay, so I'm a Luddite, but you're right. All the industrial revolutions, net have created more jobs, more prosperity, and I'm believing in you right now. Hey, I want to switch here for a moment because you wear many hats, and I know you're on the American-Israeli Affairs Committee. I've watched several interviews with you around the world about what's happening with the Gaza war. Apparently, there's talk of ceasefire negotiations without Hamas, which seems ridiculous to me. Where is this going? It's a real serious issue that's having a major impact, even with our election and our politics here at home.
Well, I think, one, the only way you're going to have resolution is when you have victory. The best example is looking at World War II. What were the two most militaristic nations in modern history, Germany and Japan? Yet, 80 years later, neither country has any appetite for war. Why? Because they were utterly and totally defeated, and they surrendered and gave up.
Right.
And it's the same thing here. So in this case, if you look at history, Israel has to decisively defeat Hamas, and that's when you can liberate the Palestinian people. So a lot of people don't realize the conflict with Hamas has really nothing to do with the Palestinian conflict with Israel. Hamas is a jihadist organization that wants a caliphate. They don't want a Palestinian nation. And I think it really represents China, Russia, Iran trying to undermine the U.S. presence in the region to eventually kick out America from the Middle East.
But it feels like sometimes our own politicians are helping them with the undermining that. I mean, how decisive do we have to be with respect to can we have a foot in both camps, as this goes along, because it feels indecisive, and I don't know that it's helping.
It's not helping. Especially in that part of the world, they sense weakness.
Right.
And the problem is this administration has been dealing with this conflict in terms of crisis management instead of crisis resolution, and it hasn't worked. So now I think the interesting story is twofold. One, what is Israel going to do to Hamas leaders going forward? They're going to do to them what they did to the terrorists who wiped out Israeli athletes during the Munich massacre at the Munich Olympics in 1972. Even if it takes 30 years, you will see Hamas leaders being assassinated by Israeli intelligence going forward, because that's the essence of a Jewish nation. If Israel's not there to protect its citizens, what's the point of Israel?
But meanwhile, victory, do you sense that victory is in the way you described it, and considering the casualties and the deaths and how much has already been achieved, that victory could be very close for Israel at presently?
Yes, I think Israel, people don't realize it because it's not sexy, it's not making the headlines, but they've taken out about 70%, which is a huge number. of Hamas's leaders. That's an extraordinary amount of takedowns of their leadership. So I think they're on the way to victory.
Right.
They don't want to incur more Palestinian casualties because it backfires on Israel.
Sure.
It creates a new generation of terrorists, turns the world against Israel. So they're trying to do their best. If you follow John Spencer at West Point, who's a worldwide expert in urban warfare, he says the ratio of combatants to civilians is 1 to 9. Israel, in the war in Gaza, it's like 1 in 3. If you believe Hamas and 40,000 have been killed, and if you believe the Israelis that they killed among them 17,000 terrorists, it's 1 in 2, 1 in 3. So they are looking out for minimizing deaths among Palestinians.
You wear a lot of hats. We covered this is one of the most eclectic interviews I've ever had, but you're spot on both ways.
And if I can say about interest rates, I think it's going to go, I think it'll be 25 basis points in September.
Right.
It won't be in November. It's going to be too political.
Okay.
And that it's more yellow lights. We're not going to have a recession.
Good stuff. All right, folks, several major